All right, hello everybody. Welcome to the EDF Sports Podcast. It is sponsored by theeverydayfan.com. Go check it out. We got everything in the latest up-to-date sporting news. Go check out the shop. We got all your memorabilia needs. Make your man cave what you always wanted it to be. Enjoy the show.
Welcome in, everyone, to the everydayfan.com podcast. Today, we've got Mr. Paul Casanova, we've got Kat Robinson, and special guest DC Glenn with us. Hey. Take it away, Paul.
All right, everybody. First, thank you guys for coming. How are you guys?
Good.
Good. Well, Mr. Glenn, it is so nice to see you, man.
Yes,
Big
sir.
fan. Just got to say, I'm from that day of the backyard boogies, and at that time, man, if you didn't hear your song, then you was in the wrong place. So it's an honor to have you here. Of course, everybody. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So it's kind of like Groundhog Day. I was just thinking. I just heard it. Just got back from a show, so it's just like it just never stops, man. Never stops.
Oh yeah. Where was this show at?
We did the Ozarks.
Oh really?
Yep. Went to the Lake of the Ozarks and had a good time.
You used to go up there every year, once a year. Rented a houseboat. My mom did every year. So we went up there and jumped off the cliffs and did all that good fun stuff.
Yeah, we had off, man. It was cool.
That's great, man. Leading right into that, for those who may have been in a tunnel for the last 50 years or so, you were part of a iconic group tag team, one of with your buddy Steve Rowland, right? If I could say that right, I probably didn't do the R right there, Rowland. But with the iconic song "Whoop," there it is, of course, and we've all seen it. We had to have. But I want you to go ahead and tell me a little bit more about yourself, though.
Hey, man. I am a different type of individual. I just love to hustle, man. So for me, I just finished writing about 4 pages of code. I'm working with an outsourcer from the Philippines, and I'm working on another writer that I got in England. And we're just grinding and chugging away because that's what I do. I love to learn how to learn.
I love it.
I am who I am. I did Whoop, there it is. The Geico commercial's popping, but I want it all. So therefore, for me to get it all, I have to learn certain things that most people will not even attempt to learn, just so that I don't have to think about it. Just so I don't have to think about social media because I know other ways around it. Just because, you know what I'm saying? Things like that everybody thinks that you have to do to be successful. There are other ways to do them. So I know that's not the answer you expected, but that is who I am.
Oh, no, that's fine. And speaking of the song, though, and what did, being as an iconic song as it has been, it seems to me, looking and watching some of the things you've done in different kind of movies, I know you're a voiceover actor, all that, and it seems like you embrace the fact that it came from that, like that popularity that song gave you, like you embrace those chances that come from that.
Actually, it didn't work that way.
Really?
Actually, everything that I have gotten, nobody knows who I am, and I've had to work 10 times as hard to achieve it, right? Like voiceover was hard, acting is hard, and nobody even knows I do that. You know, everybody on the Whoop side doesn't know that I act and I'm a voice artist, and everybody on the voice and the acting side doesn't know that I'm Whoop, there it is. So therefore, everything that happens to me happens on the strength and because of my hustle, because I place myself in the right situations to achieve success. So by the time that they find out I am DC, the Brain Supreme of Tag Team, who made Whoop, there it is, and then in the commercial now Scoop, there it is, it's a pleasant surprise, and it's like sprinkles, right?
Hey, you know, one of the reasons why I brought that up, though, is because you've transcended the time and the generations. My son is 8 years old, and when he found out that I was talking to you, he almost went crazy because every time he sees the commercial, he does the sprinkles. He's got to do it every time it comes on, sprinkles. So he wanted to, pop in and give you a sprinkles, but I had to hold him back. But but that's what I'm talking about, the way it transcends generations. Like now you do have people like him, he's 8 years old and he knows who you are now, you know?
Yeah. But the thing is, it always has, right? Because even back at the beginning, 93, 94, 95, you know, we had a good run, but on the other side of that, you know, I think it's 95, I'm in the bowels of Disney teaching Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse how to rap because we did a kids record for Disney, sort of like a Jock Jams, right? It's called Mickey
Right.
Unwrapped.
Right.
And a whole nother generation of kids grew up on that record for the next 10 years. So you talked about, 95 to 05. And then here comes, I'm sitting in a movie theater and I'm looking at Will Ferrell dance on the table to Whoop, There It Is and Elf.
Yes.
Now I know I got an evergreen record because every year something is going to bring Whoop, There It Is back. If it's Elf, if it's commercial, if all these things help bring it back. Then comes Kids Bop, which is another kids record like
Right.
Jock Jams, where they do a video, and they did this for all the schools. So now you got all the preschoolers dancing to Whoop, There It Is, so they can tire them out so they can go to nap time.
Yeah.
And then kindergartners and the first graders are dancing to it if they're good on Fridays. And it's footage of all this stuff. So all this time, when it comes to the Geico commercial, the parent is standing there rocking to it, and the kid is standing there rocking to it. And they're like, "Wait a minute, what you know about this? What you know about this?" Like all those things that had been going on behind the scenes for all these years just have come to fruition in that Geico commercial, because now everybody, the world gets to see Tag Team and the song that they love, the people who made it at the same time. And it came at the end of the, just when we needed it the most, coming out of the pandemic and just bringing smiles to people. And, I'm very, very satisfied.
DC, if I may really quick, let me get a tough question out of the way for you.
Yeah.
Under your tutelage, did Mickey become a good rapper?
Yeah, he did his thing. It's funny because that was one of the greatest experiences of my life, right? And little did I know that is the thing that started my voiceover, right? But I was back in the throes of stardom and doing my thing and having fun and all this, and I wasn't ready, right? But it took 10 years for me to say, hey, you've got it on voiceover. You can do this. And that's when I started training. I started training like 2009. And it was very, very hard because I thought I could just whoop, there it is, my way through anything, but I was wrong, right?
Yeah.
And, but it's a testament to my hustle because I never give up. I always play offense, and I learned how to learn. And I just went through, I said, okay, this is going to be hard. It's going to take a long time, but you can't quit. And I just chugged it out and just grinded and grinded and grinded. And it is the one thing that has been the staple of my life, me being able to get on this microphone and make money, right? So, go figure, right?
I mean, you've always been DC Brain Supreme, though,
Yeah.
right? Even without Tag Team, right? Like I watched you talk about how you wanted to learn about money, so you took your securities license. Do you realize people don't do that? If they want to learn about money, they go to a bank or they go to a Barnes and Noble. They don't go I'm going to take my securities license. Like, you realize that you operate at a much higher level.
But, not really, because there was an end goal. I wanted, we had gotten into a legal battle, and I signed a bad contract, and I take responsibility for my actions, and I didn't look at the glass as half empty. I always look at it as half full. So I basically became a paralegal when that started.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm serious. It's because there were two record companies fighting over us, right? Fighting over the rights. So now our career is stuck. But what am I going to do? Be pissed off, get old and bitter? No, I was like, you're going to get your day in court, because they're going to both of them need you. So what do? Make sure everything is organized. Make sure you have all your discovery. Learn about what the process is, how they try to file motions in district courts all over the country.
Know the rules.
Learn the rules, and gather the discovery, gather all the case studies. So when you do have to go fight, you can give your lawyers a big box of everything. And when I did that, that saved me half off on all the research they had to do, because I had everything lined up. You see what I'm saying? I think differently, right? And that's because of the hustle. And, you know, like with the see, I have these tactics called learn how to learn hustle tactics, right? It's not enough to just learn. You have to learn how to learn. So, you know, it's cooling off for everybody to say, you got a securities license. Yeah, but, you know, the first time I took it, I was like, okay, I'm going to go in here. I'm going to fail this so I can know what's on the test, right? Then the second time I failed it by about 3 points. And then the third time I passed it, right? Because that's what I wanted to do. I knew how to do that. I'm not in my feelings like that. And I know how to sequester my pride and my ego, right? So I'm trying to get to the end goal. And then once I got my licensed commodities, you know, license, I was like, I want to do a hedge fund.
Yeah, and you know what's crazy is you look at the mountain. This is the way you come across to me, at least. You look at the mountain, you go, yeah, I'm going up there. Like, you don't go, I'm going to try to get up there. I'm going to work out to get up there. You look at the mountain, you go, yeah, like in 2 weeks, I'll be up there. And people look at you like you're crazy, but it always happens. If you put the work in, like a securities license is hard. It's not like.
It was very hard. But, you know, I had good people teaching me. I figured it out. And then when I wanted to go get a license, you know, that's the only time I use my, I guess, celebrity is when I want to get in the boardrooms. And I said, well, how does a hedge fund even work? And I was like, well, let me call a hedge fund manager and find out. And I start calling hedge fund managers. Like, well, they're like, man, I love that song. You know, we always got to go through the 2-3 minutes of, you know, hey, my girlfriend said, hey, and all that, right? So I take advantage of that by, you know, saying, well, you know, can I get a meeting? And they're like, yes. So I had meetings in New York, LA, Vegas, San Francisco at various firms. I'm in Vegas in this boardroom. And this is another one of my hustle tactics. I asked them, why should I let you run my hedge fund? I got Dominique Wilkins. I got Deion Sanders. I knew all the Falcons. I know all the stars. I'm in Atlanta, right? And they're like, no, DC, because of this, and that. And we do this and do that and do that and this and this. And they pitched me so hard that what they didn't realize is that while they were pitching me, they were teaching me.
Oh, yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And I learned what a hedge fund is. And this is a nice segue. It's nothing. I found out that, hey, it's kind of intellectual gambling. And it's the only thing I get emotional over is losing money. So it wasn't for me. Right. But with everything, there's collateral damage. And then there's what I call collateral sprinkles. Right.
Collateral sprinkles.
Yeah. The collateral sprinkles of the situation was that year 2000, I would look at CNBC, not knowing anything what they were talking about. The year 2002, I knew everything they were talking about. Yeah. And I fashioned a great conservative, sometimes a little, you know, aggressive approach on saving money and learning what financial instruments to use and whatnot. And I've been doing it ever since, and it has served me well. So the goal was met, right? I understand money. Nobody's gonna be able to take. I'm my own bookkeeper. I work magic with QuickBooks.
Magic City with QuickBooks, right?
Magic City.
Hey man, Magic City. Okay. That was, I mean, all the things that I've been through in my life have been just, you know, full of lessons and adaptations that make me think different. Because everybody thinks the same when you're in a group, right? Yeah. Everybody says, ooh, they're making money over here. Let's go over here. Instead of, what's over here though? There's some money over here. Y'all don't know. We want to go where the big money is. Well, you don't know what type of money these people got over here. They might not just want to throw their money around and act like they all that. They might got more money anybody in here and just give it to you just because you didn't act like that. Like, I watched all these little scenarios play out and I just applied them to my life. And that's, you know, that's what started, you know, when I was going through the commodities thing. And I said, I am going to run my life like a corporation. And that's what I did. And, well, how do you do that? Well, you got to get your credit right. You got to get your, you know, finances right. You got to figure out how to be what corp you're going to be. You got to get your tax situation right. You got to learn a lot of things. So while I'm learning all these things as my life is going along, I become masterful at it, right? And that's what, you know, that's how I started my company, CLG Investments Inc. I started in 2001 and it's still viable today. And it is, you know, All these things have helped me, and they continue to help me. Like, you thought I was hustling back then. I'm on 25 right now. You see what I'm saying? I'm on 25. Like,
I'm not sure you sleep. I don't think it's a hustle. I just think you're always, no, I really do. No, because yeah, I think you get started on something and you run over here, then you work over here. I think your mind is like, and again, I think you think that you're like everybody. People rest, and I don't think you rest.
You got insomnia?
Hey man, let me tell you something.
It's like it.
I am as lazy as they come. I'm lazy. I don't want to do none of this, right? But I do it anyway.
Self-preservation, right?
I do it anyway, man,
I
because
get those moments.
you know, it's you know, I have my little friend right here sitting on my shoulder. I call him Monsieur Saboteur, right? And he is always trying to get me not to do something. Man, you don't man, you don't need to do this. Man, you don't need to do that. And I just be like, shut up. And I just do it. And because over the years, I've acquired the ability to take any negative emotion, fear, envy, hate, anger, disgust, despair, and not react to it, right? Because see, the problem is when people react to their emotions. You can still feel all that on the inside, but don't react to it and let people see you react to it, because then that's a whole nother ball game. You can't get out of that, and then it lingers and goes into something else. Don't react. Put it in your pocket. Use it later for fuel. Because if you give yourself time to think about that situation, it becomes positive energy. Because you're proud of yourself. You were able to sequester your ego and sequester your pride. And now that little problem that you're worried about that you got to get done can get done, because there's nothing going to stop you, because you've taken that negative energy and turned it into positive energy. And trust me, all of this is easier said than done. Okay, don't get it twisted. It's not easy, right? But you know,
Has anybody ever told you that you could be a coach?
Yeah, I kind of was coach for thousands
I mean,
of strippers. Oh my God.
I mean,
Club career.
Vanity.
I helped a lot of people,
Chocolate.
man. I helped a lot of girls, man.
I'm just saying, you know, that's kind of what Jack made that point earlier to us, that's kind of what a coach does right there. I mean, all
Yeah.
that you just said right there. I mean, I could hear that in a huddle, from football to
Yeah,
basketball
I'm a
to
DJ.
whatever. Speaking of that though, how did you get involved with the WWE?
I got involved with the WWE because the vice president of marketing sent me a text. No, sent me an Instagram DM.
Mm-hmm.
I said, man, why in the hell have tag team and WWE haven't never done anything?
Right.
I'm wondering that all the time, dude.
Yeah.
And
Does make sense.
we got together, and I was interested because I know he's major, right?
Yeah.
He does stuff for other companies, and he's like, we want you guys for tag team week.
Mm-hmm.
So it just was it was a beautiful fit. We did the Bump, which is one of their biggest shows.
Yep.
And that was just a whole nother lane, right? Just like we were the grand marshals for the NASCAR's Talladega 500, well, the Geico 500.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a whole nother world that we were exposed to. And
For sure.
the things, and because, and it's crazy because on that one, they were like, we just need a video. So you just saying, gentlemen, start your engines. And I was like, we're not doing no Zoom for this. I said, this is big. And I said, Steve, meet me at the studio. We put together. It was like a pitch to a corporation, right? But it was just us on a white background doing it, and it was the rough. And they sent off the rough because they liked it so much. And then Sunday, I'm looking at us on the Jumbotron saying, gentlemen, start your engine. And Twitter blows up, man, tag team needs to do that every race.
Yeah.
All these people, this is like the first race where they had more like 40,000 people. They didn't fill the stands, but they had like 40,000
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
And just the thing, the shine that brought to us, or just the exposure that brought to us. I was up at 4 a.m. on that Thursday, and when they announced it, one reporter was like, my wife is going crazy because tag team is going to do the start your engines. And I was like, tell your wife she's great, right? And the dude's like, hey, is this really you? I was like, yeah. He's like, be in our podcast tonight. And it was a podcast on a Thursday night with 6 NASCAR reporters.
Oh,
And we talked for like 2 hours. They thought it was going to be, some, tag team tour bus stories. And it was this, because this is what I am.
Yeah.
And somehow, man, they were like, I just feel like I want to just run outside and just go do something. Like I motivate people or inspire, like you said, the whole coach thing,
Yeah.
because I've been through it, right? I asked my voiceover coach, I was like, why do people trip when I talk? Because I did a big voiceover thing and everybody was, it was just like everybody was in tears. And I'm like, why does that happen? He said, because you aren't telling people things that are in a book. You're telling people things that you did, and that's the stuff that they want to hear.
Yes,
Everybody's looking for that.
Yes,
so that's why I do 3 or 4 of these a day, because I learn more by talking. You know what I mean? I learn more about telling the story and creating narratives and testing them out and see that they work, and then, mushroom them into other things. And you said earlier, it's like I'm standing in a mountain and I'm like, nothing's going to stop me. And I was going to tell you, but I don't want to interrupt you. I was like, there's a reason that they say there's gold in them dar hills, right? Because I see it. All I got to do is put the work in to extract it. And nobody else is going to do it because it's hard. And everybody is about instant gratification.
100%.
And it feels like it works, but it doesn't, right? Because instant gratification comes when you've worked for 20 years on something and then it hits. That's
some of it's about enjoying the middle too, right? Like not just the peak. It's about enjoying the walk up and that rock was tough and that grip was tough. There's some of that. And a lot of people just want the picture at the top. And I believe that
at the top, it's like I tell people, it's like, you don't plant a seed in the dirt, sit there, look at the seed, say, okay, seed, I need you to grow. Seed, grow, please grow, seed. This thing don't work, I quit. We all know people like that. We took a real estate course. I'm like, I'm gonna be rich. And it's like 6 months later, what happened to that course? It wasn't for me, right? We all know people like that.
Yeah.
But it's like, there is no quid pro quo. That's what kills people, because they think they got to get something from what they do. And all I do is play offense. I just keep shooting. I just keep going, because you don't know how those seeds are going to grow. And then you look back and I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute, I done laid a lot of seeds, right? And you realize that you've laid so many seeds. You are now standing in a forest of opportunity you could have never imagined, because you didn't quit, you didn't give up, you played offense, and you hustled your ass off. And hustle don't mean you just physically hustling. Hustling means you're learning how to learn. You're finding out different tactics, different ways to solve problems. That's all it is solving problems, right? If you put your mindset that way, it's not easy, but I'm not worried about the problem. When people come tell me problems, I'm like, okay, what's the solution? What? What's the solution? They can't even tell me the solution.
I'm gonna use this. I'm going to use this because I try to tell my writers this a lot, that we got some that want to be superstars. They want to do everything, but they're not willing to put in the work for it. They want it just to come. This is the kind of stuff those people need to understand and then hear. And I think if you two thought a minute, you know who I'm talking about. There's Cat.
I was on a big meeting today, and the guy that put on this Zoom, he's the guru. He is. But man, I threw in questions and I threw in scenarios just out of validation. I know it works.
Right.
I follow his instructions, but just if that see it validated, and I could hear his mind like, wait a minute, I've never heard that actually can work, right? Validation comes when they don't even, because it's rare that they have people who get what they're trying to teach them.
Yeah.
And I probably have listened, it's probably a 20 video course. I probably have listened to it 25 times. But you know how I listen to it? I'll look at it once, but then I'll take it and I'll squash it and I'll put it all together as one big file. So sometimes I look at it as one big video like a movie. And then sometimes I'll just take the audio and put it all together like one big audio file. So when I'm going to a show in Alma, Georgia, I can listen to it 3 times on the way back and forth because I'm learning how to learn. There's more than one way to learn.
Right.
And now I'll become masterful at the thing that he's trying to teach me, and I know what he knows, and now I can be more creative than him because I put in the work. I mean, it happens all the time, and I love it. That is what gives me right. That's what it does, and then it all comes back to music. Whoop, there it is, the genesis of all that. All this. If I didn't have the problems, if we didn't have the lawsuit,
Right.
if didn't go the way they went, I wouldn't be standing here now with one of the best commercials of the year. Probably people are telling me this. I can't never say this, but people, that's the greatest commercial ever. Yeah, okay, whatever. But people are telling me this, right? And I see the joy that it brings people because it brings people so much joy. I gotta now perform it in our shows.
Well, again, like I said, it's cross-generational now, though. I mean, that's why you like you said earlier, when you got the little tiny one that's in preschool singing it, and the mom and the dad singing it right there. I mean, you know.
And then it's just a fun commercial, man. It's just fun. And
my mother-in-law loves it, and the kids love it. You're right, and it. By the way, take the credit. It's gonna be a top 5 commercial all time. Like just take it. It will be. No, when you go through the files and you know you'll have the Budweiser frogs, and right next to it's gonna be Scoop there. You know that's where it's gonna end up all time.
It was so funny because
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was like.
Been double dutching to get in, Cat. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No worries. It's like, first of all, it's an honor to meet you. It's just like the song takes me back to my high school days and everything. And then also everything that you've been saying about like the motivation, the hustle and everything. It's like, I've gotten a sense of that myself since me and my partners, we started our podcast early last year. So it's just the hustle and the flow with that. So it's always a never ending cycle. So thank you for those words. I really do appreciate that. No, what I was going to say was, it's like about an hour before we got on here and everything. I was talking with my husband about, we were going to interview you, and he was like, I wonder how many hits that's gotten on YouTube. And I was like, you know what? Let me check that out real quick. 15 million.
Wow.
Here's one better. Right? Here's one even bigger. It's like 3.5 billion impressions. An impression is like this is an impression for us who people who need this analogy. An impression is getting the Whoop There It Is cassette when you're young, and every time you play it, it gets counted until it breaks. That's what impression is. People were playing that video over and over for it to get 3.5 billion. And here's the thing, because I don't quit, because I don't hustle, because I don't give up. I knew that we weren't going to be able to do shows because we're in a pandemic, right? So I'm like, well, what can I do? I'm not going to just be happy I'm in a Geico commercial. So I said, well, I'm going to get a publicist to blow up my acting and all the other stuff. And the publicists were like, well, we're in a pandemic. We kind of don't know how to deal with this, blah, blah. They gave me every reason why they shouldn't instead of one reason why they should.
Yeah.
And whenever people do that to me and I get stuck, I have another hustle, learn how to hustle tactic, which is I join an organization, society, or, association, right? And they're filled with people who love their profession, who've been doing it 10, 20, 30, 40 years and know it inside out. Right. And they have these organizations. So I said, I'm gonna be my own damn publicist. And I joined the Public Relations Society of America. I'm 2 days in on a Zoom cast with the CEO of this big firm asking a question, like I always do, because I know the game. I'm like, hey, do press releases work? They're like, what's it for? I'm like, well, I'm kind of featured in a Geico commercial called Scoop There It Is. And like, wait a minute, really? My wife loves that commercial. That can't be him. Oh my God, it is him. I blew the whole entire Zoom chat up. Moderators' eyes are getting bigger. Like, oh my God, we'd like to welcome DC to the organization. Back to these questions, are press releases relevant? And the CEO is like, yes, because the whole last year has been COVID, it's been political, it's been this, and then here you guys come throwing sprinkles and dancing and spinning scoops, and DC, you'll smile. She said, of course that press release is going to work. And you're going to go here for all the publicists. You're going to go here for all the podcasts. You're going to go here for all TV talk shows. You're going to go here for all the journalists. You're going to make sure your pitches are like this. She gave me the entire breadth of her expertise as a CEO of a PR firm in 10 minutes. And I have not looked back. And it has opened doors for me that I could have never dreamed of. And it is the reason that you and I are talking right now.
Amen
and I
to
bring that back to what we were talking about earlier, which was all those YouTube views. Because one of my corporate friends was like, man, you got to get the data from Geico. I was like, man, I'm not about to ask Geico for no data. I've already got it good. I want to piss them off, right? And we argued about it, right? But I listened. And I said, well, I might not go ask Geico for it, but where can I go? Because they got to get it from somewhere.
Right.
And I went to Nielsen, iSpot TV, all those companies that do data. And a week later, I'm in the boardroom with all those companies, and they're giving me the data because they love the commercial. And that's how I found out how many spins are, how many times the DVR is rewound, how many impressions there are, how many this. They gave me my whole value proposition in a YouTube clip. So they said, you're going to give you a whole value proposition. So if you're in a deal with somebody, all you got to do is refer to this link. And now they'll pay you.
So you know that probably that 0.2 of that billion was me, right? I mean, so you know how many times I rewound it and everything. And that's embarrassing right there. Okay.
A lot of clicking.
Hey, and like I said, everything has opened. When I dropped that press release, I was Super Bowl week. That press release, the next day, the Dan Patrick Show calls.
Oh.
And then that Friday, we're on the Dan Patrick Show, national TV. The next week later, we're on the Tamron Hall Show, ABC Daytime, because of a damn press release. But there are also collateral sprinkles of press releases because I do SEO and I do search engine optimization. It took me 10 years of heartbreak, sweat, tears, messing up websites and all that.
Oh, yes.
Because now, not only did I get on Dan Patrick Show, just got tons of press, but now I got 300 do follow links back to my website because 300 entities picked it up in 2 days. You see what I'm saying?
We live in SEO, so it's like definitely for sure.
That's all we deal with.
It's funny because today I threw another one at him. I said, because I got a, I'm working on schema markup, right? And if you guys don't know what schema markup is, it's when you, like a recipe, you'll see somebody has a recipe. You'll see if it has schema markup, it'll look like a Christmas tree because it'll have the 5 stars. It'll have how long it takes to make, all in that little description, all in that little bitty clip on the first page. It'll have a picture. That's called schema markup, right? But you're going to see recipes that don't, right? That's the difference, right?
And so those ones won't get clicks, right?
They want. I mean, think about it. It's like it's the shiny object.
You're right.
It's the cat with the laser. Or is he gonna be like, no, I don't want that red dot. No. Have you ever seen a cat not look at the red dot and go after it?
Right.
Well, it's the couple extra minutes in time that you took to describe the recipe, right? Whereas the other one, like it was, it's the ice cream without the sprinkles. That
exactly. It's just the plain and mundane. Now you might get some clicks, but you got the sprinkles, you got a cherry on top, you got some whipped cream, you got some fudge and some caramel, and it's in a nice, tall, pretty cylinder. Oh my God.
DC, I just had burgers for dinner. You're making me starving for some dessert here. What are you doing to me?
Hey,
cherries on top. I need a banana. What's going on here?
hey.
Mr. DC, since I'm gonna take you down into our world a little bit here.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at the score right now, and Atlanta is down by 10 to Philadelphia. Are you a Hawks fan by any chance?
Nah, man.
Oh.
No, the Hawks fan.
I we got one. Denver Broncos. That's it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, hold on. Where's my hat?
Oh no! You got him started. You
got me now. I was born and raised there. When you were at Manual High School, I was in junior high right there. I ended up going to West High. That's where that was my school. So we're not too far from each other. Only about 4 or 5 years apart.
So you understand? You understand? There's nothing else but the Broncos.
Nothing.
You'll like the Nuggets a little bit. You'll like the Rockies a little bit. It just depends. but nothing can take the Broncos, right? You
That's
know,
right. You're born with the orange and blue in your blood, and it doesn't go away.
Shoot, I still love the Denver Bears and the Denver Gold. And
Oh God, going to the Denver Bears was like the best thing in the world, man. You
hey
got
man,
to
let me tell you
get in the
something.
Mile High Stadium, and yeah, that was the
I
greatest
worked at
thing.
Mile High Stadium. Pepsi, get your
Did
Pepsi.
you?
Hot
Did-
dogs. That was me.
Me
I
too.
worked at Mile High Stadium from 16 when I was 16 till I was about 24 every day. Every time I worked, I made about $500.
I can't believe this. Like we probably crossed paths one day and we never
yeah.
even knew it because I sold. You want to get this? I worked there, but they had me selling hot chocolate
Really?
during baseball games. I mean, it's like 100 degrees. Nobody wants hot chocolate. I'm walking around trying to sell hot chocolate all day. It was like
man.
it was the worst gig ever.
That's how you get good at sales. You sell hot chocolate in the
true.
straight heat.
But see what I mean by hustle? So you know that's a hustle job.
Oh
It's a
yeah,
job
It's
you're
all
not
in the
gonna make no
delivery. It's
money.
all in the delivery.
Yeah, it's all in the food.
exactly.
You're not
Exactly.
gonna make. I had cadences, and that's that's party people. That's the genesis of party people yelling Pepsi in Mile High Stadium
Oh,
in 0-degree weather, watching the Broncos standing next to the barrel dude, saying, "Man, what you think they're gonna do?"
oh my
That's
God.
boy.
I wish I could bring this picture I got up here. I was at the last game at Mile High Stadium, so I have a picture of both stadiums together.
Yeah,
And it's like my favorite picture
yeah,
because
man. I
you
mean,
got the end of Mile High, you got the beginning of Invesco.
yeah.
Like, oh,
So if you're not,
great.
Broncos fans, you just know there's just nothing else. Like now, I do like Trey Young. I like what the Hawks are doing, but hey man, when the Lakers got knocked out, I was kind of over it. Like there's really, I like the Suns though. I do like the Suns. I'm kind of happy about the Suns, even though they just beat the Nuggets. But
Yeah, I was gonna say I did like them until yesterday.
and, it's just like you just know Chris Paul's gonna get hurt, and I hope he doesn't because he's probably lost 4 championships because he got hurt in the last game to get to the finals. Like, can you imagine?
Easy, yes.
But that's what it's all about because you don't quit, you don't give up, you keep grinding, and I'm telling you, it's even better later. Like I Won't There It Is was great for us. We made a lot of money, we had fun, stardom, all that. But that really never did it for me because I never was a rah-rah dude because I was always a DJ. So I knew what it was. I was always popular, and I understood that it didn't really mean anything. I watched people rise and fall, and I vowed that I would never be like that, right? So when Won't There It Is came along, I was even killed. I still am. People still don't know who I am. I walk in stores all the time, and nobody recognizes me from the Geico commercial because of how I carry myself, right? I'm a regular guy, and they'll never know until it starts playing in July because it's going to be big, it's going to be huge. They bring it back. It's going to be.
I'm not going to steal Jack's question, but we have to know this because you were in Atlanta during this time. So go ahead, Jack. Hit him with the question, man.
All right, so I need to know during '93. I know you're a Broncos guy, and it kind of kills the question a little bit, but Deion Sanders, like you had to cross paths with Primetime, and Brain Supreme seems, huh?
You and him are friends.
I didn't.
Okay.
Hey man, let me tell you something. As soon as he got drafted, I got there the year he got there. We got there at the same time. He got drafted by the Falcons. I was at Magic City, and he used to come down Magic City, sit in the DJ booth with me, and we were good friends. I got pictures with him and everything, and that's the beauty of what I did. I was a DJ. I made that club so hot that everybody came to see me. So that's why, as a young man, I had the greatest childhood. I had the greatest everything because of me hustling, right? Like I didn't realize how good I was a DJ in California when I went to Sac State. I knew I was good, but I didn't realize how good I was till I got to Atlanta and went to Magic City and got a job instantly. And then I was the head DJ instantly. And now I get to play my own songs for a bunch of beautiful women, 150 butt naked women. And they all love my music. And I'm living a life. What more is there, right? And
can't be nothing
the
more.
beauty of all that is that I was liberated as a man after the first year because booty was not the most important thing in the world anymore. And it was more about we're a team. Let's get this money. And that was a serious cog in my hustle game, because that made me realize, take all your emotions out of it. There's, it's the same. It's the first rule of hustling. Don't get high on your own supply. Right. And I didn't. And I just helped. We all made money together. And the world came to Magic City, and I met everybody. Dominique Wilkins was in there all the time. Every Falcon was in there, all the stars. I got down there when LA Babyface got down there, Bobby Brown, they started all the record companies. And, I knew, because we were in the Southeast, we had to make an up-tempo record, right? And I went to Steve, I was like, yo, man, we gotta make something up-tempo. He's like, I love bass, man, but I can't make that stuff. I was like, no. Go back to the beginning of hip-hop, think Planet Rock. Just do something up-tempo. And we did it, we recorded it, and I took it to the club, played it that night. And then to this day, I've been DJing for 30 years. It is the biggest response to any record I have ever had. And my hubris, I sheltered for a little while. Then all the record companies started coming, and they were like, we want the record. And they were playing with me, right? Because they didn't know what to do with it. And I called a gentleman named Al Bell, who used to own Stax Records, the old soul record company. Stax, Motown, Philly International.
Right.
And I called him because he had Deuce. He put out Deuce, Daisy Dukes, the year before. It's another bass record. It went gold. So I said, he's the man, because I almost gave up. And I called him. He called back 2 weeks later. And I'm like, Mr. Bell, look, man, we got a hit record. I've tested them in the biggest club. I got everybody loving it. You need to sign us. And he was like, okay. I was like, no. You ain't even heard the record, dude. Don't play with me. And he said these words that I'll never, ever forget. He said, brother, I don't have to hear the record. I hear it in your spirit. Let's agree to agree and get this thing going. And I gave my 2 weeks in Magic City, signed a messed up record contract. In a month and a half, we were platinum. And the rest is history.
Tell you what, good.
It's 4 times gold, right?
Huh?
It's 4 times over gold, right?
Nah, 4 times platinum. It's about 7 platinum now. Gold is 500,000. Platinum is $1 million.
That's
in
right.
a month and a half, platinum.
Good guys always give their 2 weeks, though, right? I mean, you're a good guy. You knew it was going, right? You knew where you were headed. You still gave your 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I'd like to pay homage real quick to you because I DJ. I don't do the same kind of DJ work you do. I do weddings. I do karaoke. People come out, and I'm very lucky that I have a good following. And people come out and they enjoy their time with me. And for me, it's not about me. It's all about what they want to hear, because, I'm only there for them, right? They come out and they see me, and that's how we make our money. But what's interesting is it's the same people asking for Whoop, There It Is that are asking for A Boogie, Look Back at It. Like, they really are. It's seamless. Yeah. Right. It works for all times is what I'm saying. So I'd like to thank you for making such a song that spans like you did.
And it was nothing. Everybody thinks it was this Manhattan Project. It was nothing about a record. This is the record about us partying on a Friday night chasing. That's all it is.
People love that, though. They love it.
It's
Not
the beat,
definitely.
when you get it, when you catch a beat like that, it's hard to stop. Stays in your head, keeps you moving. Anything that gets you moving.
Yeah, like it's funny because the Ozarks wasn't nobody there. It was too much going on, so it probably might have been
really
30 people there. But I don't care if it's 30 people or 30,000. Still going hard. And I can tell you that was one of the funnest shows we've done, because it was at by a pool. Yeah. And the bar was in the middle of the pool and everybody was drunk. You know how it is.
I would love that. I would have loved that.
Will you DJ that wedding where everybody is the right amount of drunk?
Yeah.
It's the best party there is.
Yeah.
And we had so much fun. That's why I always have fun performing. I don't care. That's why I'm an actor. That's why I'm a voiceover, because it's fun for me. Right.
Are you?
Everybody thinks we just showed up at the Geico commercial. The reason the Geico commercial is special to me, because I prepared for that thing. It was supposed to be Soup, There It Is. So I'm like, hey, I'm an actor. I'm going prepared. I'm going through Seinfeld episodes trying to find a Soup Nazi episode, right? Ideas and figure it out. And then they go like, no. We're gonna do Scoop, There It Is. And Scoop, There It Is was perfect because My father used to make us ice cream from scratch. You know what I mean? He'd get the ingredients, put them in the cylinder with the ice bucket. And, see, people don't know about the ice and then the salt on the ice, which makes it colder. And
Yeah.
it goes faster. Now we're turning. 20 minutes later, we got ice cream. I want to bring that essence. So when kids looked at that commercial, they said, Mama, I want a party like that. So that's why I was like, gotta have, we had a production meeting the night before. I went to the director. I said, look, I done prepared like 8 things. He's like, whatever you want to do, DC. I was like, cool. I wanted to do a spin and scoop, but I couldn't find nobody to fabricate it. He's like, it'll be done tomorrow. I was like, whoa, cool. I said, kids love sprinkles. I don't know why, but we got to have a lot of sprinkles. I want to do the salt-based sprinkle, the LeBron James sprinkle, the sprinkle food fights. Like, we'll have a truckload of sprinkles, DC.
There we go. That's right. That was all based off of that LeBron James toss, right?
Oh, the LeBron James, man. And then it was like, okay, we got this dance that we do down south. That was that. And people who saw it knew what we were doing. So that's why it worked. The whole region was like, they thought about us, right? I wanted to ensure that commercial was going to be special. And then all the other actors, it was just synergy because they were all in the same improv group and didn't even know each one of them auditioned for it. What are the odds of 3 people same troupe would get picked for the same commercial and they didn't even know each other was auditioning for it? Because everybody in the city was calling me, hey man, can you put some strings on your commercial? I'm like, how you know? Like, they got audition. Everybody want to be in that because it's a SAG National. It's that money. Yeah. That's the top of the top when it comes to commercials as far as money. So everybody was beating down my door trying to get into that commercial because they know they could have lived off a year with those receipts, right?
But DC, it feels lucky, right? But it seems good. Like you don't get that lucky all these times.
But here's the thing. People could say it's luck, but I know it wasn't because 10 years ago, 2010, I'm at work DJing. I get a call. Hey, and the security comes to the booth like, hey man, you got a girl on the phone. She won't get off the phone. I was like, which one of these heifers I done? And I go to the phone and it's a reporter from the New York Times. She's like, I gotta talk to you. Guys, like, hey, you gotta call me in the morning. The record's about to go off. Please call me at this number. There's a reporter from the New York Times called me saying Barack Obama was in you guys' whoop, there it is video. And Gawker just wrote an article about it. Is it true? And I was like, hold on, call me back. I had to think about it. I'm like, whoa, what? And I looked and it was one frame of L.A. Snow, the dude that got us signed the year before with Deuce, who was with Al Bell and looked exactly like Barack Obama. And
so you called her back and said yes, right?
Yeah, and I was like, how did you find me? And she was like, trust me, it was hard over the hill and through the woods. I couldn't find you for nothing, but I found you finally. And we did press that whole week. We did CNN, NBC, Stephen Colbert. We did everything. And I was pissed off at the end because I had nothing to show for it because I couldn't be found. I didn't have a web presence. I wasn't on top of it, right? And I vowed that would never happen again. Fast forward 10 years, my agent for acting calls me like, DC, you just booked a Geico commercial. I was like, don't play with my emotions. Would you stop? I didn't even audition for a Geico commercial. They're like, DC, you booked a Geico commercial. They said they want a tag team. I was like, oh, tag team. Because I know SEO, I got the website up. I got all this stuff optimized, all this schema done correctly. They call my phone. I didn't answer, but they go to my IMDb portal, which is my acting portal. Yeah. And they call my agent. And because of all this synergy, and I let my agent work it because now these people have been getting money from me for the last 3 years and they got all the lawyers, they got everything. I don't have to do anything. And it is the biggest deal I've ever made in my life.
Wow.
Right? Talk about synergy. And you know why? Because they found me. Yeah. They could have just called the phone and be like, you know what? Let's go with the other group. Let's go with another group. Let's go with this. Let's do this thing. We'll get back to them.
You know what though? I for a minute, I think you found them. You put the work in for all that time and allowed them to be able to find you. You could say that they found you, but you built yourself and allowed yourself to be found.
See, that is no quid pro quo.
Right.
Don't worry about it. I just throw stuff in the universe. I throw it out there. I'm having a meeting with my agents in January. They're like, DC, so what do you want to do now? I'm like, I'm good. You guys do a good job for me. They're like, DC, what do you want to do? What kind of roles do you? I'm like, I'm booking. You guys are good. It's like, DC, what is your bucket list? Like, oh, that's a different question. First thing came out my mouth. I want to be on The Mandalorian. I want to be on anything in the Star Wars universe, live action or animated. I want 5 lines with The Rock. All I want to do is be in big movies with little parts. I'm not trying to be a star.
Yeah.
I can take that little part and put it in a press release and blow it up like I'm the star of the movie.
Right.
I know.
You hear that, Star Wars? Give them Star Wars. No, seriously. Give them motivational.
That
Yeah.
was in January. And now I just signed with month ago, I just signed one of the biggest voiceover agents in the world. And now I'm auditioning for Star Wars stuff that's coming.
Yay.
Ooh, that's
Right.
awesome.
That's awesome.
I didn't quit. And you just throw stuff out there. And that's what I always do. I throw stuff out there that I want. And if it comes back, it does. If it doesn't, just keep it moving. And people are like, they see me hustling. They're like, DC, you can't do everything. And I was like, okay, I can't.
Watch me.
No. I just watch. This is an experiment. I'm like, this is my mind working.
Okay.
Okay, I can't do everything, but I sure enough can be prepared for everything. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. You're right.
Write that down.
They didn't realize is the thing that they just disapproved of is the same thing they now approve of, said differently.
In saying all of that too, are you not getting ready to go out on tour also again? The I Love the 90s tour?
Yeah, we book forever now. Like every weekend we're gone. You know what I mean? But that's
Is that
fun.
coming
That's
close
like,
to Jacksonville at all? Because
we just did Jacksonville. We did
Really?
we did outside Jacksonville. We did down south, going just south of Jacksonville at the Clay County State Fair.
oh man, I'm like a mile from there, man.
Yeah, and it's funny because I feel kind of guilty because it was still the pandemic, but it was like, we're giving away COVID shots. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like 4,000 people out there, they was giving away COVID shots. And that was the first time we performed School Theaters, and they went nuts.
Yeah, it was packed, wasn't it?
Because they hadn't been, those
they don't
fairs
care
are
around
important
here.
to communities like that, right? Those fairs are important. And they hadn't done it in 2 years. Everybody was just ready to just release, and we had a ball. We had a ball. So I mean, the shows are cool, but it's crazy because all this work I've done, all of it happened, all the stuff that's about to happen to me happened before Geico. Like I shot my first movie during the pandemic. I shot my second movie during the pandemic. I booked a fall campaign voiceover for Publix. Then I booked the Tyler Perry episode of House of Pain, and then here comes Geico. And then after Geico, I got 2 more TV shows that are about to come out, and they're all about to come out in the summer simultaneously at the same time. So I better be prepared, because
now DC, are you enjoying the second time around more than the first? And by that I mean the voiceover stuff, the TV stuff, the stuff that you had to work really hard at, and to be quite honest, like you said, to not be good at it and then have to work hard, and now you're good at it. Are you enjoying that more than the whoop, there it is era?
It's all the same, because I don't look at it like that.
Okay.
I look at the work as the fun. The day I figured out something, I'm good. I don't gotta do nothing for the rest of the day, but I'm gonna rest for 10 minutes and I'm gonna get back up and do something else, right? Because there's always something to do. Because I used to get upset because I felt like I wasn't, I don't know, I just felt I wasn't getting any help. And then I realized, dude, can't nobody do what you do. Don't nobody even know how to try to do what you do, right? Because that has come from years of doing things, right? Like, I'm the one that has to write all the stuff, all the website stuff. I'm the one that I had to learn how to do Wikipedia pages just so I could get all the information right, so they wouldn't be having stuff about the 1990s on the Wikipedia page. Like I did all of that. Nobody would be willing to even do that. I mean, like I do things different. I don't write. I dictate into my phone, then I put it in. Because then I correct it, then I send it to an editor, and then it's done. Because I can talk like this all day and come up with a story that's compelling, put it to paper, and now you got copy, right? There's so many ways that you can do things. I could take what we did tonight, throw it in the AI, and now you got, you got a transcript. right? Or if you get an email and it's a long email and you start daydreaming while you're reading it, throw it in the AI, let it read back to you. And then you hear something, you're like, wait a minute, rewind that. And now you're listening, you're reading the email that's talking to you, and you're retaining more information now. Learn how to learn. It's not enough to just learn. And that's what I do. And like I said, you know, all I think about is solutions. I think if there's something I want to do, if there's something I get stuck on, I think about the highest, most fantastical pie in the sky, far-fetched solution, right? And then I inch my way back and work my way back to practicality. And now I'm halfway there. And I've just built a business plan in reverse. And I just provided the ladder to get to the top.
I'm sending you to NASA. I think you're taking us to the moon. No, I am. Because I think he'll figure it. He's into solutions. And if that's a big problem. You know, I don't know if you know, we've got that Van Allen Ray belt and a bunch of different propelling problems. I think DC Glenn's going to send it. By the way, we already had a Glenn go to the moon, right? So, like, why not a second?
Too.
Hey,
exactly.
Man, I love when people give me problems because it automatically puts my mind into gear to come up with solutions. I love when people give me excuses because I can come up with 5 solutions to their excuses. And I don't even tell them. I just put it in my tool. I don't even have a toolbox. I don't got no tool belt. I got a Home Depot. No, I don't got a Home Depot. I got Ace Hardware.
Okay.
Right?
Ooh,
that's my tool set, right? Where you got just solid tools that get the job done for everything that comes your way. And it works, man, because my ego's not in it and my pride's not in it. When you take those out, your mind is open to the wonders of everything that you can make or anything that you can dream of, because everybody, because of this damn pandemic, is sitting here waiting for it to come back the way it used to be. And if you're doing that, you're going to be sitting here waiting for it to come back the way it used to be, because
you're going to lose out.
I'm looking at that frontier. Like, everything is new. Everything is changed. Every paradigm is different. And the pandemic taught me I do not want to leave this earth regretting there's something I didn't do. So I got 5 tutors for everything, and everything I ever wanted to do, I'm now good at and almost masterful at. And I realized that think about how many times you beat yourself up for missed opportunities and mistakes and all those things, right?
Yeah.
And I used to beat myself up about the Mickey Mouse thing when I was in there with the Voices of Disney, because I thought I was there. I had the opportunity. I didn't take it. But look at me now. I'm signed with one of the biggest voiceover agents in the world, auditioning for anything and everything. I corrected that. I corrected the mistakes that we made when we signed the contract. Boom, there it is. I learned how to deal with it. I adapted. I flourished. And that's what I'm going to continue to do. And I want to thank you guys for just letting me come on this podcast and run my damn mouth. Because I learn more by talking. I do.
Well, DC, I want to thank you for letting me listen for once, because usually it's me running my mouth.
That's true. Again, you actually got him to be quiet, and that is something that just does not happen. So
there was one thing I definitely wanted to ask you, because it's like you said earlier that you and tag team with WWE hadn't done anything for years, which is beyond me, because with how the entertainment and the energy and everything like that. And y'all were recently on the show. And after that, I saw this tweet and it said, "Thank you for having us. And then this is the beginning of a fruitful relationship between us and WWE. See you at SummerSlam." Vegas. Should we be expecting a little something?
If I do something, I'll be their promo for all think about how many TV shows they got and how many.
Oh yeah.
You know, I've got that WWE. I've got that. That's what I do.
I can only imagine like you and Steve like being like hype men for anybody, for any of the wrestlers. It's like I'm thinking of like a tag team right now, the Street Profits, because it's like they're like they always love the party. They come up with the solo cups. It's like it rains solo cups during their entrance and everything. It shows just like
or you know, we're the ring announcer. I am the ring announcer because I'm party people, right? Like, all these things that I know how to do with voiceover and acting, I can apply, right? Yeah. So that's why I did all those things, so I could do, because tag team is tag team. People are like, you gonna make another record? Why would I make another record? I've got a forever hit record.
Yeah.
Like that ship sailed 25 years ago, right? I'm not trying to do that, but I am taking music theory and got back into music production so I can make jingles for television commercials, so I can all these Christmas movies that I'm auditioning for in March. I can make Christmas songs for and submit them, and now if one of them halfway hits, I got a pension plan.
That's
There you
right.
go.
Because it'll get played every year. Like there's ways to do it, right?
Yeah.
And still be able to do it. Like if I do it like that, people are gonna be like, "Oh my God, I love that Christmas song. What is it?" It's like, that's DC from Tag Team. Damn, he's still making money. But I'm like, everybody, look at me. I got a Christmas song out. It's like, man, DC need to sit his old ass down.
Nah.
You probably already know this, DC, because you probably already do this, but you should do motivational stuff and mentoring stuff. I don't know if you do it.
Agreed.
I sent you a request on Twitter, so hopefully maybe I get to see a wake up with DC
No,
Glenn every morning.
Oh, you do?
I do it every day by doing.
All right, maybe I'll get to see that.
You know what I mean? Because people appreciate it, and what better way to hone that talent? Because you just come up with new analogies. You come up with different ways. Because an analogy can make a person understand something that somebody else tried to tell them 20 times. And you hear that 21st time in a different analogy, and it all clicks because you've heard it the same thing over and over again. It finally clicks. That's what happens with acting. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, that's what I've been doing wrong. I get it. And now you get it, right? And that's just how we learn. It is. And for me, people, and here's the thing, I've always tried to help people, right? Like, cats come to me like, man, put me in the game, DC, put me in the game. I'm like, all right. But they don't like the way I'm teaching them. They think I'm gonna give them like, okay, we're gonna do this. I'm like, no. I was like, hey, give me your email. I got a file. It's got a book in it. I want you to read that book. Once you read that book, come holler at me. And it'd be like, and if you can't, if you don't like to read or can't read, I got a video in there for you. Like, okay, cool. And 98% of people never call me back. But there's one guy, he's an Army veteran, name is Cordell, suffers from post-traumatic stress disorder. He's a lyricist, and he writes about his war stories, and he did it. And he was like, hey man, I've read it. I'm trying to understand it. I was like, I know you tried to read it, so now I can help you. And I explained it to him and gave him the game. And he was like, okay, but I still kind of understand why you're telling me this. And I was like, because I am now fully confident that you will never, ever get taken advantage of in this music industry. I said, my friend, what I have done for you is I have given you the back end first. I said, the front end is the stars, the clothes, the women, all that stuff. That'll ruin you. I gave you the back end so you can always be conscious of your rights. So when all the glory and all the stuff fades, you've got the rights to your song, and you can live off that forever, even if it's a mediocre song, because you can sync it. I've given you the back end. People don't get it. It's just the way you think about things. And the reason I do this is because these are the things I wish somebody had told me when I was a young man. And it's my responsibility to make sure that I do everything I can to help people, because
play it forward.
What you want first, you give what you want first, and I stay blessed, and I know it works, and that's why I do it.
Well, Mr. DC Glenn, the Brain Supreme, I cannot thank you enough for coming and talking with us today. And in fact, man, we are making you an honorary member of the everydayfan.com. You have an outlet anytime you want to. You want to write something and just get it out. We're your place. You want to come back on anytime. You come back on and chat with us anytime about anything you want to, my man.
Hey, when I get this podcast schema down and really learn how to rock these schemas, I'm gonna come back and give it to y'all.
There you go.
I'm gonna be the guinea pig for y'all to figure it out, because there's so many other ways to make these things blow up, right?
Yes.
And to get more people than the traditional way that everybody else does. And I'm figuring it out. It's just going to take a little time, but I'm close.
Hey man, we're always good for anything. we'll do anything, anytime. That's how we roll around here.
Hey, thank you. And I'm out here because I am hungry as hell.
All right, thank you so much. Thanks, Jack. Thanks, Kat.
I don't eat. I sleep, but I don't eat. I'm like, oh, I gotta
go eat, man. Thank you.
Right. You guys
Thank you for your
take
time.
Thank you guys all.
It's been an honor. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Peace.
Thank you so much.